Everyone. I hope you're doing well, and welcome back to another watch along. Another preview show.
Oh, I'm going to do something now. Is that what this is?
Exactly. Surprise game up on you, Ed. But welcome everyone to another preview show with myself, Tereak Talks, and to my right on my screen, and yeah, it's to my right on this one, Ed. Hope you're doing well, my bro. How are you?
All good. Sorry for the lateness, people. We had a few technical issues.
Yeah, on my behalf, of course. But I hope you're doing good. Let's just see what people are saying in the chat. Who we got in? We got Jay. Big up my bro Jay. We got Rich up in the place. You know I'm going to be smug. We got Wilf up in the place, up in here. Moss in the place, in the building. Tishi, why am I waiting? You know why, sis. You know why. Because of me, my technical issues and my, as people say, my blackness. So, but yes, here we go. Paxton in the place. Also, no, I ain't getting the Yankees cap. Got the do-rag on. Munzi saying finally, Mr. PM himself. G Staffy in the building, whose birthday was on Tuesday, and we already big you up, Wilf, and then yes. So, but speaking of quick birthdays, whose birthday is it tomorrow, Ed?
I think it's mine.
I think, yeah. So, guys, if I will be doing a watch along tomorrow for one of the games, but if you aren't, but I just want to give an early shout because it's only a few hours now. Well, it feels like that. Not too long until your birthday, my bro. So, guys, if you aren't going to be here tomorrow for whatever reason, go wish my bro Ed a big happy birthday. Thank you, my bro. The card, you got it. You ain't opened it yet, though. Nope. There you go. But yes, thank you, my bro, for coming on once again on this Friday night. So let's just have a quick review of the weekend's games. I mean, not the weekends, the midweek games, just a quick one. We will be doing a review show, and this is where, in the review show, I want to be giving the platform over to you guys to come on, because in terms of the review show, it's obviously hard to do a whole show just reviewing the games with midweek and then games coming in quick and fast. But when we have more of the break, so once the weekend's done and we don't have to wait a whole week, on Mondays I will be doing a review show. And so, speaking of a review show, on Monday the floor is open to you guys. Anyone who's willing to come on, let me know your thoughts. But let's just bring up the games up on screen right now. So on Tuesday, we had Burnley 1, Man United 1, West Ham 1, Watford 0, Newcastle 3, Everton 1. Ed, which one of those games stood out in particular for you?
I think got to be the Newcastle game, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Newcastle not only beat Everton, they outplayed them, arguably outcoached. They look like the real deal all of a sudden, don't they? So, yeah.
St. Maximin, big up know-how. But St. Maximin actually coming good. He was a constant threat throughout that game. I was like looking at him, and we know he has that X factor to his game with his pace and skill and how he drives, and he can create something out of nothing. But in that game, it must have been a joy to watch for the fans inside the stadium, just thinking, how is he getting through this? But Everton, their struggles are compounded.
3-4.
Ed, what's your thoughts on that, on the Everton side, in terms of, do you think Lampard can get a tune out of him? It's his first Premier League game, so we can't really overreact too much. But...
yeah, I don't think we can't read too much into whether or not he'll be the saviour of Everton. But I don't know. Is he onto a hide into nothing? In a good way, I mean, maybe. He can't really lose, in my opinion. If the worst happens and Everton get close to going down or do go down, you could point at he took over a team in free fall without their best striker. They've got some players out that are really important. And if he keeps them up, which I think he will do, he'll have the feather in his cap to say that he kept them up despite all those things that they're in free fall. To be fair, the biggest thing for me, I just thought it was a very lacklustre Everton performance. I watched some of the extended highlights, and I think that if you're signing Dele Alli and Donny van der Beek, who are both out of form for different reasons, and they're supposed to be the new midfield backbone of your side, it's maybe not the best time to be putting your eggs into those baskets. Both very good players. Dele Alli on his day has been unplayable sometimes in a Spurs shirt, but that was a long time ago now. And obviously Donny didn't get a chance, did he?
No.
So.
Yeah, that's what happens when you sign players in a January market, unless it's summer business that's been carried over that didn't work out in the previous summer. And that's what happened with those two signings. Well, it's still early, but those are if you can't hit the ground running, you're going to be in for, a lot of stick. No new manager bounce there. But Newcastle, resurgent side. West Ham beating Watford 1-0. I think we all predicted a West Ham winning that one. But Burnley grabbing a draw against United. Was it surprising? Probably not surprising, given United.
No, not surprising. I think it was unexpected. Maybe slightly bit of wordplay, but yeah.
Yeah. And then just before we move on to Wednesday's games, I just seen in the comments, just whilst we was going through, that G Staffy herself hasn't been very well. So I hope you get better soon. I'm sorry to see that it is, the dreaded C word. But I hope you're getting better soon, Grace. Wishing you all of good health. I'll keep you in my prayers, and I'm sure Ed will too. Because you know what, TTF, go give wish Grace well. Keep her in your prayers also as a big member of the community. It was her birthday the other day. Don't worry, Grace. I've been there where I've been sick on my birthday. And Ed's just recovered, getting ready for his. Hey, so yeah. But for Wednesday's games, as we can see here, let me zoom in just in case you might not be able to see properly. We did a watch along for the Newcastle game on Tuesday, but for Wednesday, what a game this was. Aston Villa versus Leeds. Spurs losing to Southampton at home, and we'll talk a bit more about that. Norwich 1, Palace 1, and Man City cruise control with the 2-0 win. Which game stood out for you, Ed? Because we've got it's either one of these two, surely.
Yeah, I think, big up. Whatever game you pick in midweek seems to be the banger of the night, though, right? So maybe that's something to keep. Maybe you do the Man United game tomorrow, so that should be if we keep the trend continue, that should be a fun game. Leeds Villa was fun, but I think probably the biggest result was not just because of the fact that you're wearing an Arsenal top, but surely it was Southampton beating Spurs, right? Bro. It kept that top 6, top 4 race interesting, especially with Arsenal's win the day after. Yeah, interesting.
Yes.
And I'll eat some humble pie now about how good James Ward-Prowse's assists were as well.
You see, this is it. Ed's done the Eminem start in 8 Mile, where you bring it up so nobody else can. I love that one. But James Ward-Prowse 2 assists, man of the match in there. But that for me, this one right here, people, if you can't see, 23 shots on goal. Paxton. Spurs are in the mud. It's horrendous. When you was bringing that to me, Paxton, you was like, oh yeah, Southampton have like nearly 20 shots. This was when they had like 18. I was like, nah, I don't believe this. Bam. 23 shots on goal away from home against Spurs when we all predicted, unfortunately, even the Arsenal fans begrudgingly predicted Spurs win. And this is where I've been saying in terms of Antonio Conte, we can't go too much on a manager when he can't polish a turd. I'll keep saying it. They have individual brilliance like Kane and Son. We know how good those are. But then the rest of the squad, everybody else is not even top 10. Well, what about you, Ed? Do you agree with me on that, or do you disagree at all?
No, I don't think so at all. I think Kane not being himself at all this year. Obviously, the start of the year was it seems like a very long time ago now that he was definitely going to be a Man City man, and he was gone, done and dusted. Then we had the Nuno debacle, and as a Wolves fan and as a Nuno apologist, that was hard to see. But no, their defence is terrible. Emerson Royal, awful signing so far. He could, take a year to bed in, but they bought Doherty off us. Thank you very much. Thanks for the money. As a Wolves fan, we're below them, and barring Kane and Son, you're probably not taking anyone else in that team, which I think says it all.
Yeah, exactly that. That says it all right there. Just CM, that one got me. You can hear it in Chiellini's voice himself. The history of the Tottenham. So Conte, as Moss said, also Conte's dying inside. Conte's dying for a good atmosphere, but just isn't getting it. There is no way Conte stays after the season. It looks like it. No. I did not predict. I would never predict.
No, Wilf went. I think Wilf went with 2-2. I think.
But there you go. He didn't predict a Southampton one though.
No.
So, yeah. What was you going to say, bro?
Yeah, I think just on that as well, I think Spurs are doing Spurs things whilst also paying for that stadium. So you've also got to look into that as well. Obviously, they're not wanting to dip into their hand into their pocket too much. So I think on Paxton's point there and Moss's about Conte, whether he's going to be there. Conte likes to sign players, mould players, and I don't see it happening because I think without trying to be an Arsenal loving, what Wenger did with the Emirates, obviously different era, different style of coach, but that's like it's night and day, isn't it? How they've managed the transition to how Arsenal did. So
exactly. And we'll move on to Thursdays quickly. We talk about Liverpool, Leicester, Jota, Diogo's once again edge shout. Getting closer. How many goals is he on now?
I don't know. So I'll look it up. Keep talking. I'll look it up.
Have a quick look whilst I look at this. 2 goals to Diogo Jota. Moss, I know is your captain on FPL, so you was happy. Saved your week, by the way, in FPL. And anyone else that captain Jota, you must have had a great week too. Hey, so Captain Diogo's back at it again against a poor Leicester side. I think they had not too far off of how many shots Southampton did against Leicester. Have you got the goals yet, bro?
Yeah, so Salah's got 16 and Jota's got 12.
Okay, so 4.
Yep.
So, well done, Salah, though. It's just wow, isn't it, when you hear that?
And he's missed a whole month as well.
It's true. We've just passed the edge. So, I mean, the halfway mark, really. So, what? They could get another... What? So you're telling me he could get another 16 goals if he keeps this up?
Yeah, if they carry on what they're doing now, this is just in the league as well. So Salah will get over 30 goals in the league, and Jota will get over 20, which is
Just a quick question before we move on to the game that I know we're all here wanting to talk about is
I'm not fussed about talking about it.
There's something we need to talk about. But do you think Liverpool is in this title race?
Yes, for now. I don't think Man City are. They're not in the distance, but they're pulling away. Yeah. So yes, I do. I do think so.
Whilst we're discussing the next one, guys in the chat, do you think Liverpool are still in this title race, or is the title done? Is it just City's, or do Liverpool have a chance now? They've got their players back. Everybody was putting them in question, saying that they'll drop some points, and they did. They had a 0-0 draw against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, and then they've won every game since. Every game in the league, and I think even conceded a goal. I'm not even sure.
Don't think so. Not from memory. Cardiff, right, and Palace. Cardiff and Palace.
Yeah. So there you go. But guys, whilst I want to see those in the chat, we'll get to them. Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Arsenal, Ed. The game I was at. Yep. What was your thoughts on the game as a Wolves fan?
First half was appalling. Wasn't happy with how we were recycling the ball. Didn't think Arsenal were the better team, but didn't think you were outplaying us. Definitely wasn't a foul. The Arsenal goal, nowhere near it. Some Wolves fans with their old gold tinted glasses on think it's a foul, but it isn't. Jose Sarr just didn't get there, and it was a perfectly fine goal. Second half, Wolves played well, even before the Martinelli sending off. I think I've said it in the group chat yesterday that that's going to have to be a lesson learned for Wolves, and you can see that Arsenal are learning their lessons because Arsenal played that game perfectly for 2 teams vying for that European places. You came away from home, got a goal, and then spent the rest of the game basically time wasting.
Yeah,
cheap fouls, doing the Pep Guardiola Man City thing, breaking up the play, keeping Wolves at bay, and realistically, we created maybe 2 good chances. So it was a perfect away performance, realistically, especially when you went down to 10 men. And I think just a special shout out for ESR. That lung busting run towards the end of the game completely got the wind out of our sails and wasted basically all of extra time. So yeah.
Yes, it was. That was fantastic. He tried it a couple of occasions before. That didn't quite work out with his touch. But then when we saw it, it was. I mean, I was undercover, guys, so I couldn't really get too excited about it. But I'm exposing the colours now. But yeah, I think I totally agree with you. on those points. We had the better chances in the game, so we probably slightly edged it. This is why I predicted a 0-0 draw, because I knew it was going to be cut tight and cagey. And when you see the goal that was the difference in the end, it's like, that's not, I don't think any of us kind of predicted a goal similar to that. That would happen, but it happened, and Arsenal managed the game throughout. And for a side that lacks experience, it was very much like an experienced performance, where you've seen Man City win against Wolves at home against 10 men just by the one goal, and then a last-minute winner. As I said, I've said it before, Arsenal fans, any fan apart from Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, don't go into away games expecting a win, including you United fans, because all you're doing then is playing off of history, not off what this Premier League actually is. Away games in the Premier League aren't easy. Yes, you need to yes, we need to win certain games, but when Man United are going to Burnley and drawing 1-1, who are bottom of the league, and Burnley are given a game and have given a game to the likes of Chelsea when Chelsea are in top form, and it's not like Chelsea had their depleted squad then. This is the Premier League for you, ladies and gents. It can happen. So an away win away to Wolves, who've only conceded, 20 goals now this season?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Only Man City have let less in.
Exactly. And just one more thing, boss, before we move on into the preview, Ed, that Martinelli red card. Talk to me. Was it a red card for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 bookable offences. No need to do either. He played advantage from the first one. At that point, you should know as a player, I'm getting booked for what I've just done. If he misjudges that a little bit more and accidentally pushes Podence in the face, it's not a red card in the old school rules, but nowadays it is. So he knows he's getting a yellow card for that. And then what he's done then is he's gone and taken out our winger, who was definitely going to get around your player because he's just a lot faster than him. So he's broken up a goal scoring an attack. So it's 2 bookable offences. There's a clear advantage being played. You need at that point to go, I'm in trouble for the first one. I need to not chase down and foul someone from behind. It's 2 bookable offences. We've seen it before as well. We've seen it before. Chris Baird for Fulham. It happened to him a few years ago. So it's not it's not the only time it's ever happened. And you should know as a footballer of any level that when the ball's live and you've got play on, it's another phase of football. Yeah. So that one's done. He can't blow up and book you for that because that's not how it works. Saïs got booked in that game after an advantage was played. So that's just how it works. So it's a red card, and I don't understand why people say it's not. I don't understand it.
That's for me also. And just to add on that, if people say it happens in the same phase of play, well, it doesn't, because the referee if you watch it back, the referee holds the advantage. He's going to book him for that, to try and to interfere with play, drops his arms, and then he fouls Chiquinho. So the advantage, which according to the letter of the law, only lasts for a few seconds, which is what's a few people? 3. And that was 5 seconds between. So yeah, for me, it's a red card. We move on. And do you know what? Instead of having this victim mentality, CM, this is a big question right there. Is the discipline of Arsenal a team a concern? For me, it is, because I was at the game. And yes, I like to see players, when you're an away team, you got to make it scruffy. You got to make it difficult in the games. And you got to time waste. Like Kieran Tierney, I think he treaded the line perfectly, as well as Cedric in that. But then we saw Xhaka, who was quite... If the referee was just being a complete, just refereeing, just letter of the law, Xhaka could have been sent off because he could have had 2 yellow cards. Partey committed a foul. Gabriel was doing a bit madness. He was towing the line very, very closely on the edge. But I think that's just the reflection of the aggression that we have in our team. And I like to see it. And these players are young. The group themselves, they're gonna have to learn. They're on the edge and they're gonna teeter over the edge. I'm hoping that they learn. Otherwise, it will be our downfall. But guys, we spent 20 minutes talking about a review. Thank you, people. I'm going to get into some of your comments now. Big up yourself, Ty, also in the chat, and everyone else that's just joined. Big up yourself, Ty. You can definitely get a shout out, my bro. More important, that Martinelli's lack of goals, not being able to finish. He's on about Lacazette with that huge opportunity where everybody in the stadium, even the away fans, thought it was enough. He was offside until I sent a message in the group chat and Ed Moss We're all like, no. And Vibes was also telling me like, nah, no, he was onside. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it at all. And guess who's back? Exactly. Casey's back. Love to everyone. And guys, we're going to get in there. So guys, we spend a lot of time talking, and you guys put your thoughts on Liverpool. What in terms of them being in there? Yes, Jamie thinks they're in the still in the title race. I agree with you there, and it was a training session. Moss also thinks that Liverpool are still in there. Also, where is he put? Where is it now? I can't see. I saw Moss put it in there. And then CM, the thing is, Liverpool are alive in the games in hand, such a strange season, but City seem like they're in cruise control. So we're going to have to be relying on City dropping points. And do you know what? I think they can do it. They can. When the games start coming in thick and fast again with the Champions League.
Champions League, yeah.
Let's be aware. Be aware, people. Brentford, they weren't too bad against them. But guys, we spent a lot of time on that. So it's time now to go into the preview. And Ed, hit us away with the first game that I'll be doing a watch-along tomorrow, 12:30 kickoff. So the watch-along will be starting from about 12:15 on the Manchester United versus Southampton at Old Trafford.
Yeah, so Manu versus Southampton. If we look at the last 5 meetings, it's unbeaten for Man United in that, with 3 draws, however, and 2 wins. If you remember the 90s, Southampton used to be a bogey team of Man United back in the day with Letizia and all of those players. The form for Man United, we've obviously got that draw against Burnley, the loss against Middlesbrough, then 3 unbeaten. And Southampton's form, not bad. 3 wins, a draw and a loss. And obviously that last win was quite an impressive one against Spurs with those 23 shots. And looking at the XG and average goals is expecting us to get some goals in this game, with Man United's just under 2 at 1.79. Southampton's is 1.45, and the average goals, we're pretty much expecting this to be a 2-1 to either one of the teams. And if you go with XG, it's just about edging in the favour of Man United. And Tereak's on mute.
Oh no, I've done it again. So I was just looking at them. I like those. I like that because I remember obviously last season was the 9-0. But then the season before that was a draw in there. You said, yeah, in between Man United and Southampton.
Yeah.
I remember. Yes. And the last game they played, it was a draw. Earlier on in the season.
That's the last 5. That's the last 5.
There you go. You see, so it's not as a foregone conclusion. Well, it definitely isn't. But Man United. Ronaldo, 8 goals. Bruno Fernandes with 7. And Armando Broja with 6 goals who scored against Spurs. And then the player with the most passes is actually Mohamed Salisu out of both sides with 1,160. So I just thought that's interesting. The reason why that shows Man United's midfield, once again, their midfield issues. But going into the injuries and suspensions for both sides for United, the home side, Fred is out, as well as Eric Bailly and Nemanja Matic. Fred, like you, Grace, tested positive, and Eric Bailly and Matic remain out with their injuries respectively. Nathan Redmond is a doubt for this game. He may feature, but for me, I feel if he is going to get in any minutes in this one, it would be from the bench. This game seems to have come too soon for Nathan Tella, so he's also a doubt, but he's returned back to training. Alex McCarthy, the goalkeeper, who's deputised by Fraser Forster now in that number 1 position, is out, as well as Lianco. So I've got guys getting them predictions in the chat. Thank you for bringing them in so far. Before we get into predictions, let's talk about this player comparison here. Ed, we heard you talk about JWP. Have you changed your stance now that I put Scott McMayo in there?
Oh yeah, if we're doing player v player for this one, I'm taking James Ward-Prowse because he's really good at corners and free kicks, and McTominay isn't. So like I said after my rant, which I'm going to blame on getting over the C word, I still stand by what I said. Those were in open play, but they were basically dead ball situations. So I still stand by the fact that but I did say at the time that is his skill, and it's an amazing skill, but I just don't think but out of those 2, I'm picking James Ward-Prowse.
Okay, there you go. I agree with you there. James Ward-Prowse for me. He's not a bad man. What is it about? Like, what do you think his level is then, Ed?
What, for James Ward-Prowse?
Yeah, what's the ceiling?
You're talking Europa League team. Yeah, no more than that. No more than that. If you were to have him in a team higher than that, he would only be in there for dead ball situations, and then you can't carry a player that doesn't give you anything else with it.
Yeah,
For me, it's just his overall play. Obviously, I wish I could kick a football like him, but it's in a team where you'd need your centre midfielder to do more. You'd need that in a game in a team that has the ball more, and I don't know how he'd be in a team where he'd need to recycle the ball, recycle possession, all those types of things, get his foot stuck in when he needed to. If we were going back an era, we're basically saying that this is he'd be a right winger in a 4-4-2 type formation.
yeah.
But now he doesn't have the trickiness or the quickness for playing on the wing.
There you go. And guys, do you know what we'll do right now? I agree with you. I agree with you in terms of James Ward-Prowse's level. So who have you gone through so far? So we haven't gone through anyone. This is our first one. This is the first game that we're going through. So get your predictions in, Josh. We started talking about a Premier League review, so that got everyone ready to calm down. Paxton got his in with a Manchester United 2-0. Ronaldo brace, one being a penalty in there. So Casey's gone for a 1-1 draw in this one. Saints after getting a 3-2. Tottenham and Maguire equals the Saints for a result. 1-0 Southampton. Josh has gone for the away win here. Yep. That'll be huge if that does happen.
That'll be big for that top six push and all that stuff. That like the Southampton result against Spurs. Josh, as well, if you want to just go back, we were singing the praises of your Toonami at the start of the review as well. And we have one more comment, I think, there as well from TCM saying 1-1.
TCM going 1-1.
And we got one from Moss and CM,
3-1. Guys, loving it. You know what? This is a bit of a this is an admin headache, as they say, because we've got loads of different results and different score lines. So, guys, keep them coming in. Oh, there we go. I think the comments. I was having issues with the comments then, people, but it seems to have figured itself out. But big up everyone else who's just joined. Everyone, if you haven't done so already, smash a like if you're enjoying it. We'll bring you these on a weekly basis, the preview. And guys, the floor is open to you for the review. When we do the mid-game review, we'll make it like a call-in type of thing, so you guys can come and talk about your teams, and then whatever you want to talk about in terms of that. So it's all, the floor is open for you guys to come on.
What have we said for this game then too?
This is what we've said in terms. I've gone with a 2-0 Man United win, and you went for a 1-1. Ed, give me a reason why you think it's going to be a draw.
I think some recency bias kicked in for me, I've got to say. Southampton impressed me against Spurs, and Man United haven't impressed me all season, but recently especially. So, I'm going for a 1-1. If I was, if I had to pick one team, I probably still would pick Man United. But I just think maybe there's a score draw in here. And again, the stats push that way as well. And I think in the last game, I predicted Spurs to win, but it was close to a draw. And if you remember what I said was Brozier, we didn't think was going to play. And then he played pretty much the whole game. So the fact that he's fit, raring to go and he's looks like a very, very good striker, maybe above the level of where Southampton are at the minute, maybe where they want to be. I'm going with a 1-1 for this one. You've gone pretty much completely opposite. So how come?
Yeah. I just think that with Southampton, they had a great result on the week in midweek. I keep saying that, but with these sides, with these middle of the table sides, I think this is too far to expect them to keep up that level of consistency in their performance. And with United's threats, do you know what? United, they've actually had chances in their last few games, but they've just not taken them. And I know United fans shoot me if I'm wrong. I think you guys have improved in recent games of late under Ranić by creating the chances, being a team that consistently creates chances. Yes, you have instilled the issues defensively, mainly in terms of exposing the defense through the midfield, but that's not going to change without personnel. But in terms of the attack, the likes of Ronaldo, Fernandes, Pogba, etc. These top players are getting chances, but they're not putting it away. I just think in this game they will, and it'll be too much for Southampton. That's why I've gone with the United win. Being at home is a factor also. But let's go into the comments, some of them now, and look at that. Bernadette herself. Happy birthday for tomorrow, Ed. You always have loved your stats and numbers. And numbers on the back of the shirt. You know what I mean? There you go. What numbers on the back of this shirt? Can you remember?
20.
He knows. There you go. There you go. So yeah, 1-1 was in there, and then Brush in the chat. Big up my bro Brush. I'm just hoping for a good 90 minutes. Hashtag same 24 hours. Love that one. And Wilf, I hope. Yo, what's happening? The TTF. This is spreading. It's spreading. What's happening? I hope he's doing well. I hope.
We've got No-How's unwell, Grace is unwell, Wilson well.
Oh no, how also in a hotel. No way, guys. I hope and keep you all in your prayers. TTF, I need you fit. I need you fit and healthy. But yes, people, I hope you all get. It's not too bad, and you start to get on the mend. Ty also thinks it'll be 3-1 to Man United, so agreeing with the likes of CM there. But for the next game, we have Brentford versus Crystal Palace here at the Brentford Community Stadium. Guys, get your predictions ready in the chat whilst Ed is here bringing us records and stats for this game.
Yeah, so as always with Brentford, don't worry about these last 5 meetings. I think most of these happened in the 70s. So a draw, a loss, 2 wins and 2 losses. Brentford's form, not great. It's a whole lot of L's. 5 in a row now. Palace's form, better than that, but you know we're up and down with unbeaten in 4 out of the last 5, 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss, slap bang in the middle of it. And the XG again, surprisingly for Palace, again they were 0.88 before the midweek games, and that goal against Norwich and their performance against Norwich nudged up a little bit to 0.95. But Brentford surprisingly is actually higher at 1.31. And the average goals expected is 2.7. So the average goals kind of going against what XG is saying there. So XG is pointing in the direction of a score draw. But it looks as though the average goals is thinking this might be a win by the odd goal.
There we go, right there, people. And the top goal scorer out of the both sides is actually Conor Gallagher with 7 goals. Odson Edouard with 6, and Ivan Toney also the same. So we've got to look out for in particular, Conor Gallagher and Ivan Toney to grab the goals. I know, Paxton, you love the top goal scorer chat. So let's go into this one. But saying about Ivan Toney, he is a doubt for this game. Touch and goal, whether he'll be fit and available. Also the same for Vitaly Janelt. If it's me, I'm saying that Thomas Frank brings them both in. Christian Eriksen, I did think this would be the case in terms of getting himself ready up for match fitness. It's been obviously the infamous incident which happened in the summer. He hasn't played football since then, so it's going to take him a while to get even up to match fitness, let alone that Premier League level. Matthias Jorgensen out as well as Tareak Fossey and Julian Jean-Vier. Just for Crystal Palace, James McArthur has returned now. So Cheku Kiarte is a slight doubt, but he may play. One of those 75%, if I'm going to give you. He's got a 75% chance of playing, but Nathan Ferguson is out. So that injury list, very small for Palace. So that's why, for me, if you know what, Ed, for player, who are you picking? Ivan Toney or Odson Edouard?
Oh, that's a good one. I think if we're going on finishing ability, it's probably Edouard. But I think maybe at this current time, Ivan Toney maybe offers the team a little bit more. So maybe I'll go with Toney for this one. But I think if either of those 2 players were in sort of an up-and-coming team, you wouldn't be going too far wrong.
True. Do you know what? I think both of them offer a lot for the team in terms of that, because we've seen Edouard play on the left, haven't we?
Yep.
A lot of the time. He's very good at linking up play, one touch, technical. But I knew Josh was going to. I see Josh there coming in. Edouard Toney, he's backstabbing. I'll stop there. So yeah, he's always going to go for Odson Edouard there. But do you know what? If there's one thing that tips it for me, Ivan Toney's hold-up play is good. So he's got that over Edouard.
Yeah,
Edouard's dribbling ability. I'm going to go goals, Ivan Toney. Probably a bit more of a clinical finisher in this league. They're both on the same amount of goals. It was 6. So that's why it's a perfect matchup. So you can't say, oh, yeah, but one scored more than the other. The fact that Tony's missed odd game or so with injury. Edouard, you can probably say in his favour. He's not been an automatic starter the way Tony has. So, yeah, I'd just love to hear you guys' thoughts. Wilf going Edward for me. Very hard. 2 players I like, but as Edward came from Celtic and I like Tony more, I have to pick him. There you go. So this one's going to be a tight one always. But guys, let me know your thoughts if you're watching afterwards. Get in the comments if you do like this feature, and let in the comments if you are watching. Let me know your predictions as well. So, guys, we've got your predictions in the chat, as you can see as right now. Bees 1, Palace 1, says Casey. We've got 1-1 also from Paxton. And he's gone with the goal scorers, Ivan, Tony, and Elise. So the big man there, the one who's in top 4, Michael Elise.
Yes.
Most assists out of the both sides, got 4 assists to his name. 3-2 to Palace. That's, hey, you ain't offending anyone here. We've got a big Palace community. But
well, I think what he's saying is because he said 2-2 previously. Typo.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right, Josh. We'll let you off. You should go first predictions only. I'm only joking. Now you always.
That's only for Grace. That's only for Grace.
Yeah.
There's too many.
Shoot. 2-1 Palace. Agreeing with me there, as you can see. And then 1-0 Brentford. Hey, she's and Tishy agreeing with the hubby right there.
No, I've gone 1-0. I've gone 1-0 Palace.
Oh, yes. Obviously, yes. Apologies. Yes, other way around. My bad. I don't think Crystal Palace will get top half at this point now. I think that game against... Yeah, I get the game against Norwich. It's kind of shown that they're not. It's been a much better season for Palace, but they've still got things to work on. And then also Moss going with 1-1. Agreeing. So we got a 1-1 for the TTF so far. Unless guys in the comments, we got more. Kieran, big up yourself. 1-1 also. Zaha's penalty. Do you want to touch on that, Ed, quickly?
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? I've watched the FPL, the Premier League app, has done the worst penalties taken in the Premier League. And it's nowhere near as bad as half of them, but, he just slipped. He hit his own foot, didn't he? It happens to the best of them. His goal was a screamer, though, right?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, that was
Wilf doing Wilf things, though, isn't it? That he'll do something ridiculous and then in the next breath can mess up. And I just think, just to touch on Palace quickly, I still think a lot needs to be said for the job that Patrick Vieira and the Palace board are doing. They've overhauled that squad from the oldest in one off-season, the oldest team with the oldest manager, to now a relatively young manager.
One of the youngest.
Yeah, with ridiculously good young talent. And we've still got players like Nathan Ferguson, Eze, Elise, all those players coming through now. So, yeah, this might be a season too soon for them to push top 10, top 9. But I wouldn't be surprised if with another good pre-season under Patrick Vieira, they are a bigger team next year.
100%. It's a good shout. And Tish, just thinking about that with Ed's stats with Brentford's losses, if you get that run right, you need a big shout out because Brentford's form hasn't been great. But yeah, we'll have to go on that one. Thank you guys for all your predictions. CM, I brought it up, but you went 2-1 Palace, so agreeing with me too. I just think that's what will happen. Palace will edge it for me. Their attack, they'll finish their chances. I think they'll create more. Elise, Eze will start to get back, I believe. But Josh has brought in a good question here. Zaha to Newcastle in the summer. Him, St. Maxi, and Wilson up front. Do you see that working though? Because I think Zaha's better off the left. Yeah. And so we St. Maximin.
Yeah. No, I think that might be too many cooks. Too many players with Zaha and St. Maximin who need that sort of free role.
Yes, good point.
So, I mean, it would work on FIFA, wouldn't it? You'd have a lot of fun on FIFA, holding an L2 and doing loads of tricks and stuff.
And on paper,
on paper it works as well. But no, I think you'd have an obvious someone on the right wouldn't be doing what someone on the right needs to do in that setup. So no, I think it'd be fun to watch, but I don't know if it would guarantee you goals. Also, Josh again bringing another thing in there, saying Brentford are down. What do we think on that quickly before we move on? I know we've gone long already.
I know it's a cliche. There's always 3 worst teams. But I think with Brentford, injuries has played a big factor into their form, their loss of form. So once they start getting players back, also, the same as Leeds, I think they'll be all right. They're a good enough team. They've got a great cohesion, team spirit. There's teams below them, which they're still in question. Like yourselves, Josh, I'm sorry to say this, but even Everton, I think they're more of a danger than Brentford at the moment. Do you think that's a bit of a hot take? Anything cool at Molyneux Tea Talks? Anything cool? Ooh,
The light show.
Oh, the light show, of course. Thank you. I was mentioning that on the phone to you earlier. The light show is amazing. Had a big up Saki, by the way, a nice girl that I met next to me, and she was talking about it. She was at the game first time she went to the Molyneux, and she was amazed by the light show. So yes, the light show was phenomenal. It was great. It feels like you're at a Champions League night. So yeah, it was great. Molyneux, great, good there. Atmosphere better in the South Bank than it is everywhere else. But the Arsenal fans were loud, but we're great, aren't we? So yes, guys, in the next game that we go to, speaking of Everton and Leeds, I mentioned them previously. This game at Goodison Park, this is a big one, isn't it, Ed? So
yeah. News just in as well. Bielsa's had some spies going into Everton to spy on Frank Lampard again.
You serious?
No.
Oh.
No. But if you remember from the Derby Leeds days in the Championship,
oh my days,
that would be hilarious if Bielsa did do that. No, so the last 5 meetings between these two teams, it's a bit all over the place with this one. We've got a draw and a win for Everton in the last 2, with 2 then wins for Leeds with a draw. And the form, Everton, if you know any Everton fans, they're not going to be happy at the minute. Their form isn't great. One of those wins, I think, was in the FA Cup. So take with that, I think, against, was it lower league opposition Everton beat? Yeah, and they've got Boreham Wood as well, haven't they, coming up? So interesting. So for Everton, they've got...
actually, Brentford.
Oh, Brentford, yeah. So they've got 3 losses and 2 wins in the last 5. Leeds form, obviously, that very good 3-3 that you would have watched with Tereak on Tereak Talks a couple of days ago, that draw. And then we've got 2 losses and 2 wins. And if we look at the XG for Everton v Leeds, which is, you could argue, the pivotal game of the weekend in terms of will one of these teams be dragged into a relegation fight if one wins. The home team, Everton, 1.47. The away team, Leeds, 1.54. So it's it's a cigarette paper between both of them. But the average goals is expecting 3.5 goals pretty much, which I think just maybe reinforces the fact that these teams aren't the best defensively at the minute.
Do you know what? It's going to be an interesting one. And I think the XG, when we get into some of the predictions, let me bring them up now, actually, because the XG says completely different to what Paxton and Josh says, which, guys, it may happen exactly your way, because how many times does that happen in football? Yeah. And Tishi also going with a tight game, but Wilf going for more goals. But yeah, I'll go back into that a little bit later, Wilf, but in terms of what you said there about Everton. But yeah, and we're starting to get goals coming in now. So, hey, Josh Paxton, if that does happen, you know what? Big shout out, because XG's saying different. Top goal scorer for both between both sides. Rafinha's got 8 goals. So that's pretty decent from Rafinha. In a struggling Leeds side, once again, you know how much I love talking about Rafinha. I'm not going to say it again, but you know my thoughts already on Rafinha. But in terms of injuries for both sides, the injury list, it's bigger for Everton. And that's saying something with how Leeds have had this season. But Damari Gray has been ruled out as well as Vitaly Mikalenko. Yeremina's out for up to 10 weeks, with Tom Davis also being out until looking like April. Ben Godfrey remains out, as well as Fabian Delph and Abdoulaye Doucouré. Abdoulaye Doucouré, who's the bigger injury for you there, Ed? Doucouré or Gray? Or even me or Godfrey, actually.
Yeah, no, I think it might be the Yeremina or Ben Godfrey. I think the defence is a real issue for Everton, so I'll probably go with one of them. I think Damari Gray, though, was at the start of the season, he was everyone's differential in FPL, right? He came out, bought for like less than £2 million from the German league, came back out of nowhere. But so it would have been him maybe 3-4 months ago, but now I reckon it's the defence. It's the defence that's an issue for Everton.
And for Leeds, they have Liam Cooper out, as well as Calvin Phillips. Still, they're back. They're nearing back to fitness, though. 2 huge players for this Leeds side. So that's where I see Leeds picking up their form. With Junior Firpo getting closer. He's closer than the previous 2 that I mentioned. Patrick Bamford's still struggling with his injury. And Sam Greenwood had knee surgery not too long ago, so he's going to be out for a long term. And I'll have to put my scores in the comments. Got stuff to do, so catch up later.
Cheers,
PM,
Paul.
more than welcome. And that's for anyone else as well, if you're watching this later, or if you're watching it now. You can get in the comments and definitely get the scores in. It'll be great. But let's go over into the player for player. Now this is a big one. Goalkeepers, yeah?
Yeah,
Ed?
two left-handed, two left-footed goalkeepers.
Exactly that. Who are you picking in your side if you had to pick one? Guys in the chat, let me know your
I
thoughts.
don't know. Maybe Meslier, because I think Pickford is just too up and down for me. I don't need that in a goalkeeper.
Is it Meslier the same, though? Is it Meslier the same?
Potentially. Yeah, I wouldn't want either, truthfully. If you're asking who do I want in the Wolves shirt, I wouldn't want really either. But I'd maybe go with Meslier. I think just slightly less erratic for me. Slightly taller as well, which I think is an issue for Pickford, although he doesn't like that being pointed out. So yeah, I think Meslier. But Pickford, the cliche, always does well for England, and he has. The Italy final, couple of outstanding saves in that. He has it in him. And I think he lost his head against Newcastle. But we all know his feelings on Newcastle, don't we, as well? I think they live rent-free in his head, don't they? The St. James's Park.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't want... I don't think either of those keepers are keepers that should be in a team pushing for Europe at the minute. Meslier, I know, is very young. So I'd pick him.
I think Meslier has the potential to get there. They're good shot stoppers on their day, but for goalkeepers, you need a level of consistency. And do you know what? Probably age profile edges me to go for Meslier. Let's see what you guys have said in the chat. Meslier defo, especially on form. I see real potential in Meslier. So I think the age factor has he's played in both brushes and cream bones. And guys, let me know your thoughts on that also. On Brentford, if they don't start winning, they're in big trouble. They've definitely played one or two more games than everyone else around them. You are right.
Good shout, Kieran.
It's a good shout, Kieran. Definitely. I'm just being a part of Ed there. Good shout, Kieran. But yeah. I'm choosing Meslier mainly for the age factor, but if you're talking currently, I'd probably like to say Pickford. But yeah, I'd rather have Meslier in mine. But then in terms of predictions, guys, it's a bit... Me and Ed have gone for goals, whereas some of you guys have, and I've edged an Everton win, but it seems like the majority of the TTF have gone for a draw. I know, CM, you've gone for an Everton win, and so has Casey, so you're agreeing with me there. But everyone else gone for a draw. So Ed's and TTF. And guys, whilst Ed's explaining, let me know your thoughts why you think this game's going to be a draw.
I think similarly to both games that both teams played in midweek, I think there's a leaky defence, teams that need to attack. You've got some players in Everton that really need to step up. Rafinha for Leeds is worth at least a goal a game against any opposition. He's that good. I just see goals in this game. Now, watch Paxton and Josh be banged on with their 0-0s and this be last on match of the day. But I just see goals in this game, and I don't necessarily see goals in this game because it's two heavyweight boxers slugging it out. I think this just might be that there's some leaky defences and some mistakes. There's mistakes in both of those keepers as well, like we just 100%. Talked about. So yeah, I think there's goals in this one.
Fads, if you just joined in, then you can get your predictions at the end of the stream if you want to put them all in there. But yeah, give your predictions for if you're gonna stay, drop them in now, and then for the ones that we've gone through before, just drop them in the predictions after in the comments after the video. So yeah, and
we haven't gone through many yet. We've only done Man United, Southampton, and Brentford Palace so far. So
yeah,
we're not too far in.
We can see your messages, Josh, but the guys in the TTF, they can see them when we bring them up. So yeah, but yeah, big up yourself though, Josh, man. If you want to watch it on Twitch, we'll keep bringing your messages up anyway. And it takes a lot for me to say Pickford as well because he's ex-Sunderland. So hey, that's a good shout, Josh. that's a good reason.
Just also down here at Moss, I went with 2-2, and part of me thinks I'm not sure why either. Because I don't think it's easy to predict either of these two teams.
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I've gone with 3-2 Everton, and I'm going off of because Leeds did well in their last game. And those teams, as I said, in the middle of the table, they don't really go on a consistent run of games. Otherwise, they'd be much further than lower half. That's why I go with Everton win. It's not because of Everton. I think home factor edges it. Frank Lampard's first home game, he'll want to get a reaction out of the side. The Everton fans are happy with Lampard, but now the pressure's on the players, and I think they may perform. And Big DCL is back for this game.
Yes.
So he loves to play against Leeds, the former Sheffield United lad. So in the next game that we've got here, Watford versus Brighton. Guys, let me know your thoughts on the predictions in the chat whilst Ed is bringing us the record and stats for this game at Vicarage Road.
Yeah, so for Brighton against Watford, or Watford against Brighton, I should say, the last 5 meetings, not pretty reading for Watford with 2 losses, 2 draws, and only the 1 win. Watford's form, obviously with a new manager, still not great at the moment with 3 losses and 2 draws. And Brighton and Hove Albion, I'm going to say that in this because we don't have any Palace fans. I'm going to say Brighton and say it with my chest because there's no Palace fans on at the minute. They are back to last year's specials of being the draw specialists with 3 draws and a loss and a win. And the XG, Brighton last year were the XG kings, and they've always been very similar this year as well. And there's not a lot between either of these two. Cigarette paper, and again, big up Casey, well done on almost 5 months, bro, well done. 1.38 for Watford, 1.31 for Brighton, with the average goals pretty much going bang on with it, expecting almost 3 goals in this game. So the XG is pushing you towards 1-1, and the average goals is saying there'll be 2 or 3 goals in this, depending on if you like all those stats.
Again, I'm on mute again. I did it again. XG saying it's going to be a tight one, but yes, in terms of injuries and suspensions, Watford's looking a lot better, being as a lot of their players are back from AFCON now. Peter Atebo is a doubt, as well as Quadro Bar, and Nicholas Nkulu is out. But for Brighton, only 2 players that are confirmed absentees. Obviously, things are due to change in the current situation we're still in. Enoch Mwepu is out, and Jeremy Sarmiento is also out. But I just want to say something, actually. I've just brought up a good point. And guys in the chat, whilst you're getting your predictions in, do you think, Ed, the fact that we're having new rules in the UK where they're going to be implemented, where even if you still test positive, you can still carry on, that's going to be a massive plus in football, don't you feel?
Yes, yeah. I think you're not going to have the isolation rules are going to be completely different, aren't they? So whereas now you have to go away for 5 days unless you test, and then you can test negative, and then if you don't or whatever it is, it changes all the time. Yeah. You are going to have a quick turnaround of whether if they're testing positive but feeling fine, they're asymptomatic or whatever, they're just going to crack on and play, aren't they?
Yeah. Exactly that. And then they won't even have to disclose that someone's tested positive. They'll just say illness. Do you know, like how it is before? But so we'll be seeing a lot more of these injury type of lists, guys, as the season goes on, which will be much better for our game and get the games played. So it makes our lives easier. But here we go. Guys in the chat, I feel like I know what you're going to go for. But Ed, Emmanuel Dennis or Leandro Trossard in your time?
I'm glad you told me who that Brighton player was, because I could not for the life of me pick out who it was. They're both very similar. They can win you a game or be completely anonymous for me. Emmanuel Dennis has obviously got the stats to back it up, but Trossard's maybe done it a bit longer, so I think I'm going to be Trossard.
Just like Fads and Paxton and yourself and Know-How, I agree. I've gone with Trossard. I thought, do you know what? TTF, you surprised me. I thought you'd have gone more with Emmanuel Dennis. And because obviously I think players who score goals tend to get a lot of plaudits. Kieran also going with Trossard. Trossard is a quality player and gets in a lot of positions. I feel like his finishing lacks a lot. But the positions he gets himself into, do you know who I think he's similar to in a way in terms of how he plays as a footballer? Diogo Jota on that left, how he carries the ball, gets in positions, gets in good positions. But
similar stature too.
Exactly. Diogo Jota at Wolves. The Diogo Jota now is just another level. He was scoring goals at Wolves, but not to the level that he is now.
No, he went on streaks. For those of you who are NBA fans, he was a streaky goals shooter. Yeah. So Diogo Jota now for Liverpool is what Diogo Jota was for Wolves in the Championship season we had him. Absolutely unplayable. He's gone up a level, and his team has gone up a level.
Yeah.
So, or more than one level really between Liverpool and Wolves.
Yeah.
Unbelievable footballer. But yeah, I see the similarities. Similar stature, again, like you say, carrying the ball. Trossard, that is definitely his. And he's at Brighton for that. The lack of goals. Maybe that's why he's at that level. Brighton, they get players into good positions. That's why they are the XG beasts. But it's getting the ball in the back of the net that's their biggest issue. And as a Wolves fan, I'm fully aware of that issue.
There you go. Know how saying it's more to do with Trossard has teammates that can trust his teammates more. So you think he's in a better team. That goes without saying.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've said this. I'm not to hate on Dennis, but I feel like this is his Michu season where it just seems crazy. But this is Fads, yeah. Tereak, since you are Arsenal fans, pretty sure you remember Arsenal. I actually don't. When was this? When was it, Fads? When was we linked with Trossard? I mean, I wouldn't take. Do we need him now? We don't need a left winger, in my opinion. We've got other areas that we need to address first. But maybe further on for a little bit more squad depth. I would take him. But not right now. I think we've got other pressing issues. But into the predictions, guys, in the TTF. Paxton, I saw your comment from earlier about Tielemans. We'll get into that. So we'll get into that just a bit later when we get to Leicester. But Watford, Fads is going for a Watford 2-1 win against Brighton, but Josh goes for a 3-1 Brighton. Kieran goes for a Brighton win, as well as Wilf, as well as Paxton going for a 2-1. Dennis the Menace, the guy we were just talking about, but Morpie and Basuma. Tish also agreeing with yourself, Paxton. CM going for a draw, which is Ed's result. And you're the only one that has gone with Watford, yes.
I'm interested in Wilf's comment here about Watford going down without a doubt.
I
don't know if it's without a doubt. But they aren't in the best of form, and they aren't surprising teams like they were at the start of the season either. I'd maybe put them as going down, but I just think without a doubt, I think it's maybe a little bit too far for me personally. Roy Hodgson, we know you can stink up a place, which is why I've gone for 0-0. Just picking up points where he can. But I don't think you're wrong either, Wilf. I think they could easily go down. But I just wouldn't say it's without a doubt just yet. I think we're still a bit further on into the season than we need to be before we can start saying definites. Because about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was definitely saying Norwich were going down.
Good point. Very good point. Yeah, it's true. It's a good point. And then Know-How saying 3-1 Brighton. So yeah, Brighton going for goals there. And he was linked, and Trossard was linked when he was at Genk for 9 million. Fair enough. I missed that one. I'm not too hot on those transfer rumors, because I feel like you can send yourself I think you can set yourself crazy by following transfer rumors, basically, because you linked with so many different players. I only do it when the real credible journalists get involved, because otherwise, it's just too much for me mentally. I've had I'm scarred from Vlahovic now. but I've gone with a 2-1 win. And I see where Ed's saying, because Brighton, they create chances. They'll be the better side. They'll probably have chances, but can they even score them? That's what we know with Brighton. That's the areas of weakness. But I think Brighton will edge it. I don't know, 2. Ed, you've convinced me that much now. I even want to say 1-0 or something. I want to go 1-0 Brighton, but nah, I'm sticking with it. Hopefully it goes well. But guys,
Fads, don't worry, if you're the only one that goes with Watford and Watford win, we'll remember that, and you'll get a shout out in the coming week. So
exactly, just like the 0-0 that you and Paxton said, just like the 1-0 win Tishi said, and there was another one before that, which there's been some hot takes which I love. Guys, I'm a sucker for a hot take, and so is Ed. Aren't we, Ed?
Definitely. You saw my James Ward-Prowse rant, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you haven't seen it, go check out the preview. Perfect time. You should probably get that clicked up. But into this. Feels like a foregone conclusion. But Ed, at Carroll Road, Norwich City versus Man City, is are you going to give us any hope, or for a game on our hands?
Well, when we get to the form, maybe. But in the last 5 meetings, we obviously do have 1 win in there for Norwich, with 3 losses for Norwich and a draw. So it's not exactly like Man City have won the last 5 comfortably. Norwich's form is where I think you might see some unbeaten in 4 with that one loss a long time ago now to Wolves. The Man City form, we've got unbeaten in 5, 4 wins and a draw. The XG is very, very dissimilar. So Norwich 1.02, more than double expected goals for Man City at 2.37, and the average goals going almost bang on with what XG is expecting, which is 2.5 goals. So between 2.5 and 3 goals expected for this. You would say foregone conclusion. Norwich have surprised City and teams recently, and like I said a few weeks ago, I was saying Norwich are a Championship team. I know a Championship team when I see one, and now look what they're doing. So
there you go. It's true. That's where I mean, nobody would have disagreed with you either.
no.
But now Norwich, people giving them a bit more faith. Just looking at the goals, assists, passes, and tackles per game, Man City dominate all of them, apart from tackles, as you can imagine, with Max Aarons having one more tackle than João Cancelo. So goals, Kevin De Bruyne, Riyad Mahrez, Raheem Sterling all on 7. Gabriel Jesus has actually got the most assists for City, who's, I'll bring you right now, is actually out for this game. So no assists for him here. And the most passes, oh, my word, nearly 2,000 passes by Cancelo this season already. And that's a left back, that's right back.
He's not a fullback, is he?
Oh, my.
He's ridiculous. He's a ridiculous. Where did they even sign him from? I genuinely,
Juventus.
hands up, never heard of him before he came to Man City.
Juventus, he signed from Juventus, and Juventus signed him from Valencia. I think Gary Neville managed him at Wales. Is that Valencia stint?
You can see the similarities in fullbacks between what they were then, right?
Oh man, I didn't want. When I said that, I was making sure I didn't want you to spit out your drink all over me. The similarities between João Cancelo and Neville. But in terms of injuries and suspensions, Norwich, it doesn't help you here. Lucas Rupp is a doubt, but Ozan Kabak, Andrew Omabami Dele, I got it right again. Tim Krul and Jacob Sorensen out. So for City, though, Gabriel Jesus and Cole Palmer already out for their stacked squad. But guys, your predictions, smashing it. We haven't done a player for this one, but guys, is there anyone from Norwich that can get into City? Squad. Of course, not the first.
Max Aarons?
Yeah, for a Walker replacement.
As a push? Yeah, I rate Max Aarons, but we did this with the Brentford Man City player for player at the start of the week.
Yeah.
Potentially you'd have one of them in because Pep would make them better, but realistically, you wouldn't. There isn't anyone, is there, really?
No. I know he's not their player, but Gilmore as a backup to Rodri.
Yes. He's a tidy footballer, comfortable on the ball. Pep could make him into something, definitely. So, yeah, but again, that's a Chelsea player, not necessarily a Norwich player.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
There's levels. Moss as well, all you missed was the Watford-Brighton game. And your 2-2 actually swayed it that's what people have gone for in the TTF as well, I think.
It's true. Yeah, a lot of TTF. Yeah, exactly.
Went for draws.
There was a lot of Brighton wins also, actually.
Yeah.
We'll have to look at that one back.
There'll be Mr. 200's going to put stuff in comments as well. So
exactly.
I've left that one blank for now.
There we go.
Yes, Cantwell is gone, Fads, just to pick up on Norwich.
Bournemouth, any?
Bournemouth, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Correct in that. And in terms of our predictions, let's just get Ed's is hiding his. We're going to give the big reveal, ladies and gents. 2-0. He's not gone with XG. XG did give Norwich 1 goal, but we come on, guys. We're City. We don't need to spend too much on that.
No.
I'm not going to say why did you go 2 and I went with 3 because
maybe we should ask why Josh is going 9.
Josh 9.
Loving it, Josh.
Is it Josh or Jay? Oh, you Jay in disguise. Big up yourself, Josh, man. 9. Hey, we'll have to be big shout out if that's the case. But yeah, Paxton agreeing with you. KDB Sterling. The 2 players are on 7 goals this season. But just to get into these two, actually, before getting to that one, Wilf, yes, I am doing a watch along for the United Southampton game, Fads. So hopefully catch you back there, guys. Back for that one. And Wilf, I'll read this one out for you, Ed. So Wilf has said, the Don of South London. The reason I say Watford, without a doubt, is that they are in free fall and Hodgson's side don't score a lot. Norwich, Newcastle have a bit of momentum. So what's your response?
No, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair point. It is a fair point. Like I said, it was just without a doubt. But yeah, I think you're pretty much spot on, Wilf. I think you always say I do Jedi mind tricks, but I think you've done me there, man. I said, I would probably put them if you asked me to pick my three. Yeah. Watford would be in, but maybe I'm giving Roy the boy a little bit too much credit because I think you're right there, Wilf, with the fact that they don't score enough goals.
There you go. 5-1 City, 4-0 Citizens, 3-0. Teach gone with XG there, 2-1 City, as well as Fads, 2-1 City. Norwich is improving. City will play the second team with the UCL coming. KDB Cancelo will be rested. Tichy and Fads, I actually like that shout, from you guys. But Moss going with a 3-1. So similar, convincing still, but Norwich to go and score a goal, which is what most of us haven't done. Excuse me there, people. Sorry for that one. But yeah, and Paxton on Zolis in a couple of years, but no one right now. If Southampton can lose 9-0 to Leicester, it can definitely happen to City with Norwich against City. It'll be a slap back into reality.
That'd be a bit more than a slap, Josh, I think, mate, if it's 9.
It'll be, we're literally 1 goal per view we got right now. So that it would be mad. So in terms of the next game, and this is the Sunday ones, we got 4.
There's also a very good chance of that, Paxton.
It's very true.
It's the way the Watford do it.
It's true. He's already under pressure, Roy Hodgson. Watford crimes against elderly abuse. Oh, wow. But Burnley versus Liverpool. This one at Turf Moor, Ed. Burnley, a couple draws in the last couple of games. That's what I'm spoiling the stats out for you there. But hit us with the stats and records for this one.
Yeah, so the last 5 meetings, I must admit, hands up, I don't remember Burnley beating Liverpool. But they have. But three wins for Liverpool, 1 win for Burnley, and a draw in there. Burnley's form it's not a couple of draws, it's 3 draws in a row after the back of a couple of losses. Liverpool's form, however, is just a bunch of W's. And I think I even wrote that without the game that they played last night. So it's actually 6 wins on the trot.
Wow.
Because I was trying to do a bit of the prep work beforehand. And I just assumed Liverpool would win last night. And the XG, you can see there on the ticket at the bottom. Burnley, 1.17. Liverpool, slightly less than Man City's, as it tends to always be. In fact, it's bang on exactly the same as Man City, 2.37. And the average goals, let's just round that up and call that expecting 3 goals. So the XG and average goals is telling you it's going to be a 2-1 Liverpool win.
There we go, people. And I'll move on into the injuries and suspensions. Quite short for both sides, 5 players each that are either doubts or outs. And Charlie Taylor is a doubt. He could return for Burnley, but Johan Berg Gudmundsson and Matej Vidra are out for them. So good to see that Maxwell Cornet is available for this one, as well as Wout Weghorst. But for Liverpool, that injury list is a lot better because their only doubts are Divock Origi and Joe Gomez. So
who won't play anyway. Really?
Exactly. They won't. At best, both of them will be on the bench.
Yeah.
So this doesn't make a difference to their first 11. So, guys, in terms of the predictions, because we haven't done a player swap for this one, but Ed, would any Burnley player get into Liverpool squad?
Dwight McNeil, Nick Pope as a backup keeper.
Yeah.
But again, I think when you're going squad, I mean, you take them and expect them to play better because they're with better players.
Yeah,
so,
it's true.
Yeah,
because Liverpool don't have like a weak they don't actually have a weakness outside like of their 11. Do you know what I mean? Because they've got a very strong goalkeeper, defense, midfield, and obviously they've probably got one of the best attacks in the league. So yeah, none for me. That's the one we're going to scrap and say no player gets in there.
No, that's why we didn't do the player for player on this one.
Exactly.
Sometimes there's a reason.
And me and Ed, we've gone with Liverpool to 3-2-0. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Kieran agreeing with Ed there, going with the 2-0 win. How can I be unbiased with it? You can't, Fads. You have to try and remain as unbiased as possible. But 3-1. With Weghorst, I know Paxton, you're loving Wout at the moment. You're loving Wout, shall I say? Because in the Dutch, the W's are pronounced as V's, aren't they, Ed?
Yes, they are.
So it's Wout Weghorst. Sorry, Tereak Ray back.
It was a lovely turn by him the other day, by the way.
St. Maguire and McTominay. Like pins in a bowling alley. 2-0.
I've never heard that one.
I know, great one. 5-0, Liverpool, Salah, hat-trick, Luis Diaz, and an own goal, says Josh. Josh, you've gone for some heavy scorelines.
You know what? Josh is just like Paxton. He says it with his chest, doesn't he? Every single one.
I love it. You know what, guys? And that's why I love it with the TTF. You do go with your chest with it. Hey, 5-0, and he goes hat-trick for Salah. But I hope you're wrong. But actually, I haven't put Salah back in my fantasy.
No, not me. I'm still working him in.
So I hope you're wrong. Yeah, Josh, I'm praying that you're wrong because that will be a nightmare for us. 3-1 Liverpool. McNeil, Weghorst, masterclass incoming. Oh, no. There's the bias right there. Then, that's probably what it was, Moss. 2-2 easy. Wow. 3-0 Liverpool. So Tish agreeing with me this time, agreeing with their brother. 3-1 Man City, and then he's gone with 2-1 Liverpool. So he's gone for close as well. Weghorst again. 2-2 for Moss. Which one's this one?
Moss is playing catch up, I think.
Oh, okay, yes. Oh, for the Everton Brentford. Oh, yeah. Perfect. So now this is another one, Newcastle versus Villa. I think this is quite a big one, Ed. So this one is at St. James's Park. Hit us with the records and stats for this one. Josh, this will get your predictions in and everyone else.
Yeah, so the stats for, like you said, I think this is a big one for the weekend. Newcastle versus Villa. Last 5 meetings don't read well for Newcastle with 3 losses and only the 2 draws. The form, however, a lot better for Newcastle since we've been doing these previews with 3 wins out of the last 5 with a draw and only 1 loss. And Villa's form, they were on a slide of, I think, 3 losses in a row, but recently are now 3 unbeaten. And the XG has been for the whole thing very, very close. The home teams, that's Newcastle 1.3, which has been a huge bump from their very, very impressive performance against Everton in midweek. Villa's is 1.19, and the average goals is expecting more than what XG is saying. We can call that 3 goals. XG is saying that this is going to be a draw, where the average goals is saying there's going to be an odd goal, which means there'll be a winner.
Do you know what? I think the TTF are waiting for those stats, And then if you are waiting for the stats, but if you want to know about the injuries and suspensions, because, guys, it's big. This might sway your thinking. So hold fire on your predictions if you can do for the moment, because for Newcastle, the injury list is quite big. Kieran Trippier, who picked up an injury, is a doubt for this game. Obviously scored that goal, his first goal for Newcastle. So right there, bit of a big risk there. So for Newcastle, big miss that would be if he isn't fit to play or start the game. Paul Dummett is a doubt. Matt Targett ineligible because he's playing against his parent club. Federico Fernandez, Isaac Hayden, Callum Wilson, and I think it was Josh or Paxton mentioned it in the watch along. Callum Wilson's not even due to be back.
No.
For the until they've got 3 games left. So it's not right until the end of the season. Matt Ritchie is out, as well as Jamal Lewis, which they've got 3 left backs out there. So that will be interesting who they decide to go for at left back. And for Aston Villa, Philippe Coutinho, Emi Buendia are doubts. 2 players. Coutinho was fantastic the other night. He came off with an injury, as well as Emi Buendia. Emi Buendia, 25% chance. Philippe Coutinho, 50-70. We'll have to see. 50-75. We'll have to see there. Leon Bailey is a doubt, mainly because he's only just returned back to training himself. Bertrand Traore picked up a hamstring injury away at AFCON. So he was injured before AFCON, goes to AFCON, comes back injured again. Marvelous Nakamba is also out. And Ezri Konsa picking up that red card. He's going to be out for 2 games because it's his 2nd red card of the season. So yeah, that big injuries, don't you think, Ed, for both sides? Which one?
Yeah.
After seeing that, which one is more detrimental to the sides?
I think when you look at all the players that Newcastle have lost there, I think Kieran Trippier is a big loss for them.
Yeah,
I think the silent leadership he gives them has been a big difference. I think you can tell in the teams. But yeah, the Coutinho has come back flying, hasn't he? So that's going to be another big loss. Ezri Konsa, that was a silly red card to pick up. in the midweek games, and like you said, that's actually going to be 2 games out for him as well. And he borderline England call up as well. I think he's a better defender than Tyrone Mings personally. So I think that's a big loss. But I think if you have to tell me which one's the worst, I think Kieran Trippier's delivery, free kicks, corners, that's a big loss, as well as, he's a good solid right back.
Yeah, and since Gerrard's come in, Emi Buendia has been on fire, as well as Coutinho. So Emi found his feet at Villa now. Took him a while, but it usually does.
It's a real shame about Leon Bailey. I was really excited at the start of the season when he came in.
Yeah.
Jamaican international. Looks like he could be a real player coming from Leverkusen, I want to say it was.
As well as Damari Gray.
Yeah, he's just not been able to stay on the field, has he?
That's it. And I feel like this happens. This is quite common for players when they transition into the Premier League with the intensity and pace. It's a different league, isn't it, Ed? Physically. So, hopefully he can. He's obviously still young, and so relatively.
I think people joke about that, about it being a different league, and people say it's a bit of a trope, but it is different. It is different. You have seen players come from foreign leagues and take time. And no, TCM, I will never say Newcastle.
It's Newcastle. What is it, guys? Is it Newcastle or is it Newcastle? Do you agree with Tish or do you agree with me and Ed?
Well, I know Wilf's going to say Castle because he's obviously a South London geezer.
South, the Don of South. But in terms of player comparisons, Ed, Trippier versus Luca Dean, if you have to pick one as your fullback, your set piece taker, your assist man from crosses, who are you picking?
My tattooed sleeve fullback.
Yeah, true. I've got that similarity.
Yeah, I'm taking Kieran Trippier. I think his body of work's got more to it, so I think I'd take Trippier. I think they're both good dead ball specialists. Luca Digne at one point was one of the best left backs in the Premier League. Obviously, he left Everton under a cloud, but I think Kieran Trippier's CV reads better, so I'd go with Trippier.
Big moments he's done it in, of course, hasn't he? He's had the whippers for the goal in the semi-final of the World Cup, and he got an assist in the Euros. Oh man, what a time, Ed! What a time that was.
Yeah, and we've got Tereak Talks will be all over the World Cup in December. Don't worry.
Oh, 100%. We'll be bringing you in person watch along to me and Ed can actually physically touch each other.
Yeah.
So Kieran Trippier again. I think everyone's going Tripp short-term deal.
That's a good shout, Paxton. Yeah.
Exactly, because I think what is there 3 years difference? I think.
Yeah, I think the best part. I think is it 2 or 3, but yeah.
It is close, isn't it, Mass? It is because they're both basically the same, just on the opposite side, aren't they? Trippier barely, and that's it. Yeah, I agree with Ed. I agree with Ed. Yeah, just better CV. So I've gone with Trippier. And in terms of predictions, now Ed and TTF. Let me see yours first because me and Ed have gone with complete opposites. When that happens, it always goes to Ed. So, guys,
not always, but the predictions league's looking better for me, I guess.
Feels like it does. But I made my prediction, by the way, based off of the injury list, but I'll go into a bit more depth on that. 2-1 Maggies, of course. 2-2. So Fad's gone with the draw. T's gone with the same result as me. That's not the first time tonight.
No.
1-1. Fads and Kieran agreeing with each other. Right there. And that's big news. Kurt Zuma's son suspended from primary school. If that is the case, Ed.
Yeah, maybe we'll touch on that at some point when we get a West Ham play.
But Leicester. That's the last game. We've got a couple of talking points on that one.
Let's start that one and come back to that. Good.
Exactly.
Again, Paxton. Was it Paxton with that comment?
Exactly.
Bringing the
breaking
content.
News. Exactly. We have to create different shows for these one, Paxton.
Yep.
Magpies versus 2-2. So it looks like TTF's going for a draw, but Wilf has gone for a big score, 3-2 to Newcastle.
Got the same as me.
There you go. Oh, yeah, he's the same as yours. But although he wants Newcastle to go down because he wants Bruno Guimaraes. Or is it because of the comments? There we go. I see that. Yeah. With how Newcastle... Did you see that announcement? Ed?
No.
Newcastle's announcement of Bruno Guimaraes, they were doing player linked to Arsenal. They were doing they would basically try to put on Arsenal. My club.
Right. Okay. Right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah,
I guess I support a team similar to Newcastle in terms of big club, but isn't quite where Arsenal have been. And I think I find that maybe you should see that as a as a compliment more than anything. Because last night when we were talking after the game, I was more chuffed that my team had pushed the mighty Arsenal.
exactly.
So, yeah.
Hey, see, Wilf, I know you had to bring it up on screen because I know you couldn't see it in the comments. You're having words. There you go. You're gonna have to have words. But Ed, why have you gone with Wilf's prediction of a 3-2 Newcastle?
Truthfully, because I didn't know Newcastle's injury list was quite as bad as it was. I think we touched on it earlier, Josh, with the front or with the Saint Maximin. Didn't know Trippier was a doubt. I'll be honest.
Okay.
Didn't know they didn't have a left back. So, but that maybe still looks towards goals because both defenses look like they've been decimated a little bit by injuries. So I'm going to stay with it. But yeah, I didn't know the Newcastle injury list when I did all that. When I did my predictions a couple of days ago. So I think I was running high, a bit like Josh was about the performance against Everton.
But Villa's isn't much better, though,
No,
when we talk about the key players that they're missing in terms of goals. So for me, I'm a bit... it's just Coutinho and Buendia. That's a lot of creativity gone and confidence.
Not trying to make us go even longer because we've still got 3 games to go. But Emi Martinez, has his level dropped a little bit this year, do you think?
Yeah,
or do you just think Villa have a little?
No, I'm saying Emi Martinez because he was a big reason to what their success last season, and Arsenal's obviously in those 10 games. But in football, I think Troy Deeney says it, and I'll always carry this on. Like, it's all good having 1 or 1.5 good seasons, but if you can maintain it for even 5 years, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, then. He hasn't maintained that level this season. He's dropped a few clangers left, right, and centre. He had a good summer also with Argentina, and I don't know. What do you feel like? I feel like sometimes, unless you're that ridiculously driven, I think you can take a little bit away from you when you've done what Martinez has done, being in the goalkeeper team of the season. What are you really expected to win at Villa? He's done it internationally with Argentina. I feel like that hunger goals a little bit, unless you're an athlete who's a psychopath, like the elite ones that are. Do you know what I mean? The ones who do go and kill it. Do you know what I'm saying?
It'd be interesting. I don't know if I don't think there's any Villa fans in the chat at the minute, but if any of you know any Villa fans that want to give us, because I think there's a few talking points on Villa, this year. But Martinez, I wonder what their thoughts are.
Boy, that's. I don't know, man. I think you go when you say that, Josh. You're going with obviously past. But Ramsdale has been at a good level for 3 seasons in the Premier League. Bournemouth Player of the Season, Sheffield United Player of the Season, and he might get Arsenal's Player of the Season.
Yeah, I think he will.
So yeah, that's okay, Grace. No worries. Hope you're feeling better. Take care,
Grace.
Yeah, look after yourself. But yeah, this is the penultimate game of the weekend, but we've got one more fixture too after that. So this is Tottenham versus Wolves. Ed, your boys, are they going to bounce back against another North London side?
Bear with me. See, what was your Newcastle prediction?
Oh yeah, my Newcastle one.
I was too busy chatting to write.
That's all right. No worries, man. 2-1 to Aston Villa.
But so my mighty Wolves against the beloved Spurs. Is that what we're talking about right now?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah. So Spurs versus Wolves, the last 5 meetings doesn't read well for myself. With 3 wins on the trot for Spurs. We've also got the form here of the teams being, Wolves is definitely better with 4 wins and a loss. That actually will be 2 losses now because again I did this before Arsenal beat us last night. And Spurs' form is in a lovely pattern of a loss, a win, a loss, a win, and a loss. So the XG for these teams for Spurs and Wolves, if you watch Wolves ever, you'll know that our XG is never great because we don't really look to score goals. We look to not concede. So ours is 0.9. Spurs is 1.53, and I think about most of that is Kane and Son. And the average goal's going pretty much bang on with it, expecting this to be a 2-goal game.
There you go. And for injuries for both sides, sorry, I just feel like I went through puberty then. Oliver Skipp Oliver Skipp is out, as well as Eric Dyer. Japhet Tanganga remains out. And this was a big one for last night in terms of the result. And I knew it would be. And he's a doubt. And when I realised he wasn't in the side, I had a little cheer. Gian Moutinho is a doubt. Ed, how important is Gian Moutinho in being fit for this one if you're going to really have... Do you think you can still win without João?
I can't remember my prediction, but maybe not. João Moutinho is quality. He's 35. He's got 140 something caps for Portugal. He is an unbelievable footballer. Best footballer I've ever seen in a Wolves shirt. The biggest issue we have with him, though, is when he's not playing, that means Leander Dendoncker plays centre midfield. I rate Dendoncker. He's fine. But in a 2, he's not good enough in midfield. He's one of those players that's not really a centre-back, not really a defensive midfielder, not really a box-to-box midfielder. He does a bit of everything. So for me, the midfield is going to be... It's a very different team with Neves and Dendoncker, or Neves and someone else that isn't Moutinho. And for Wolves fans out there, Moutinho is the player we need to replace more than Adama Traore. So for
100%.
me,
I agree with you.
It's a big one. It's a big one.
Yeah. And Hwang Ki-chan, who was on the bench, but he didn't come on, so he's still a doubt whether he'll play. And the 3 absentees that have been out for literally all season, in Pedro Neto, Willy Bolly, and Yerson Mosquera. But guys, we're going to go right now into the prediction. And into the prediction for this game, because I actually couldn't think of a player like comparison, because Neves or Moutinho walks into Spurs, and obviously Son and Kane walk into but then everywhere else, Doherty. What about Doherty or Semedo?
Semedo next, they're not. They're different, completely different levels.
Okay, all right.
Doherty was a system player. I said that. Well, I loved him. He was at Wolves for over 10 years. He was a Mick McCarthy signing. He went up and down with us, or down and up with us, I should say. And he was quality. But as a wing back, he played well with Traore. But as a right back or a wing back without Traore in front of him, he's not a top 6 player. Yeah.
And also, I need to put this out. I was meant to say it earlier. Ruben Neves, my word. What a player he is. Partey was good in the second half. I think Partey edged it over. But over the game, Arsenal, get Neves in now. I beg. Please. Don't let Man United, Liverpool, anyone else get in. I want him. The geezer. When you're watching football and you're playing FIFA, right, Ed? And then, because you've got a different angle in it. You've got a different perception as players do on the pitch. And you say, all right, the next pass he should make is that. Never does it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's like, switch the ball because it's free over there. All right, Neves is like, oh, what? What did you say? Oh, bang. And he puts on a sixpence. Whereas other players, they probably take that one touch too many, which is like Dendoncker. Even Podence was
he's far too good to be at my club.
He's ridiculous. I was like, it's like, oh, you know when you get frustrated as a fan, oh, he's free over there. Nah, Neves doesn't miss a beat. He's so good. Honestly, I could wax lyrical about Neves all day long. But I've gone with a 1-1 draw. I think Spurs once again. It's not my Arsenal bias. I know I'm wearing an Arsenal top, but I think if Wolves grab a goal in this game, they won't concede more than 1. So I'm banking on Wolves scoring, and Ed's more in the like of. You don't really see Wolves scoring in this one.
No, that's my problem. We didn't create enough chances last night against 10 men against Arsenal. Conte is going to give them a rocket. I'm worried about the Moutinho missing in the midfield, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. Do you know what? With all due respect, I couldn't care less about the predictions if I get this wrong. Do you know what I mean? So it's a win-win for me.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm disappointed after last night's game. But again, I actually made this prediction before the Arsenal game. So
okay, so there you go. So win-win, I guess. Playing it safe. Grace has gone 2-1 Wolves as well as Tishi and Moss and Wilf to TTF.
It's definitely 2-1 in the TTF, I think.
Definitely 2-1. But look, Josh has put a 2-0 Wolves. Kieran's gone with a 0-0 draw. Probably the most likely result. I'll probably say that because Spurs haven't been great, but they have the Kane and Son factor, which could just edge it for them. and that's why I've given them a goal. But I think Wolves will grab one. So yeah, great predictions in the TTF. I'm looking forward to that game. I wish it was on TV, but it's not. It's not here in the UK. So Moss, I know you'll be finding anyone else who watches the football outside of the UK. You'll be good. So we're just going to have to be relying on that and other things. So yeah, in terms of the final game of the weekend and penultimate game, we won't spend too long talking about the next one after this because it's just a double game week.
Yeah.
But Leicester versus West Ham. And before we get into the stats and records, Paxton brought in 2 massive points here. Youri Tielemans transfer news. He will not sign a new contract. Ed, what's your initial thoughts on that?
He wants out, right?
Yeah, he wants out.
He wants out. He's reached his ceiling with Leicester and he's far too good for that team. A bit like what we just talked about with Neves. At some point, it will be that with Neves as well. We've signed Neves to a very long contract. So when someone does come swooping in for him, probably in the summer, it will cost a lot more money than what Tielemans, I think it's even gone down from 50 to 35 million. I think now the latest rumours, isn't it? So
wow.
It's much more affordable.
Tielemans or Neves? I've just asked myself that question. My word, Ed. I don't know, man. I feel like that's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You get slightly more box to box with Tielemans.
Yeah. But I think you get better defensive output from Neves.
Yeah, you do. You
get crackers from both of them.
Yeah, you do. And Tielemans probably even more because I think Neves is not shooting as much anymore. He's recycling possession a bit more now under Bruno. So yeah, I don't think you're going to go wrong with either of them. I think with my Wolves hat on, I'd say Neves, but I'd take both.
I'd say, do you know what? Neves has a slightly better injury record.
No, yes, that's very true.
So I'm going Neves reliability. So
my favourite thing about Tielemans, though, I love his little rosy cheeks. I love that.
Yeah. He
looks like a little kid. I do find that fun.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, you see, even Casey, but you want both of them over McFred.
Yeah.
But guys, Ed, we've got one more. Forgot Paxton. He forgot. Kurt Zuma's son suspended from primary school pending what? Like,
yeah, but I think Paxton then put in might be a dodgy, unreliable source. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the Zuma thing, maybe we could touch on quickly.
Yeah, quickly. Oh, we'd love to spend a lot quicker on this, but what's your thoughts on it, Ed?
It's horrendous, right? I haven't watched the video. I don't fancy watching a cat getting kicked around. I think the outrage to it is correct. It's horrible what's happened. My issue with it personally is that what it seems to be overshadowing actual humans going through trauma, racism, all of the we can't really talk about some of the Benjamin Mendy and Mason Greenwood stuff because that's still all ongoing, and maybe that's why Zuma has had the it's against a cat. There's going to be no legal investigation. It's an RSPCA investigation. It's very different. It's still legal, but it's not with the police.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why and we can't talk about the other two things, the Greenwood and the Mendy and the Everton player that we can't name yet because of everything that's going on with it all. But it's horrendous. Maybe the last take point for me is that I think he's lost his sponsorship with Adidas. Pretty sure when Suarez was found guilty for calling Evra what he called Evra, he didn't lose anything. I don't remember John Terry when he called Rio for Anton Ferdinand.
He didn't lose anything.
I don't think he got anything other than people saying that they were lip reading it wrong, and he got lots of defence against him. So, and I know Antonio from West Ham raised the point in his car doing a Harry Redknapp impression hanging out of his window. It's abhorrent what Zuma did, but it's nothing compared to what men and women have gone through at the hands of either the public or some of the footballers and their behaviour. So I think, yeah.
Exactly. And hey, it's just lack of inconsistency. We talk about it a lot with referees, but we're seeing it a lot even throughout public opinion. So I agree. I echo all those words that Ed has said. It's definitely not comparable to racism. I know it's horrible. It's a horrific situation, and I don't know what he's doing. And he deserves his cats to be taken away from him for sure. But like, why even try and make that comparison? But like, even the comparison of saying it's a racism is very like blindsided, and you could say it's racist in itself by linking, because obviously the connotations with racism, with people of different ethnic minorities get linked to
no dogs, no Irish, no blacks, and all that kind of stuff that we've gone through.
Exactly. So, but we'll go back into the game.
Let's talk football. It's more fun.
Yeah, exactly. Leicester City versus West Ham. Big one. This is.
Yeah, it is. It is Leicester. I think someone's put it in the comments. I think Leicester in free fall. I think it might have been Will Ford. Is it about Brendan Rodgers, a dead man walking? Maybe we can touch on that as well. That's another talking point with this game. Last 5 meetings, very split, with West Ham winning 3 and Leicester winning 2. The form here we've got for the teams, Leicester's form, maybe not as bad as what the press around Brendan Rodgers is at the minute, with a draw, a loss, 2 wins and a loss. But that might be missing out the game in midweek. No, was that a draw? Did Leicester play?
Which game?
In this week?
Yeah, Liverpool lost 2-0.
Yeah, so that I haven't put that on there, so that was a loss. Because that was last night, wasn't it? And West Ham's form, 3 wins and 2 losses in the last 5. And the XG for Leicester versus West Ham is 1.45 for Leicester, 1.56 for West Ham, and the average goals going pretty much with it, expecting this to be a 3-goal game.
There we go. Moss has just put something in the chat about Zuma not being allowed to play. As far as I'm aware, David Moyes... play Foxes. Okay. Oh, my days. I've just seen it. I completely misread it then. I thought Zuma is available to play, but no, he's not allowed to play with the Foxes. No, he's not. Sorry, Moss. That was a good one. He caught me out. But
just on the Zuma team news, he is available for selection. David Moyes has said he is. So
exactly. So there, and what Zuma has to go. David Moyes was saying, like drink driving offences, most people have to go to classes. So the RSPA are going to provide him with classes. So he's going to classes.
Why anyone needs a class in A, racism, or B, not to kick defenceless animals, I don't know. But people have a chance to rehabilitate, don't they? We can't. Yeah. You can spend all night saying how rubbish it
politically.
is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But guys, in terms of the injuries for both sides, as you can see, for only the away side, West Ham, Angelo Ogbonna and Arthur Masuaku out. And for Leicester, Wesley Fofana is a doubt. And the fact that that's said, that could be big. Johnny Evans is out. Timothy Castagne, Jamie Vardy, Ryan Bertrand. But with Wesley Fofana, he's going to be taking his time on that. So I don't imagine him getting a start anytime soon. Not in the Premier League anyway, or maybe one start and eased in because of that injury that he picked up, obviously, in the summer in a pre-season game. But yeah, big injuries still there. Not as many as we've seen previously with the likes of Leicester and Leeds, but still some key players out there. And in terms of player versus player for this one, Harvey Barnes or Jared Bowen, who are you picking? Recency bias or?
No, RJ Bowen all day. I'm going to go with my left-footed right winger. Going to go Bowen. He's even done quite well playing up front. So Harvey Barnes, I think, is a good footballer. He's a better footballer than I thought he was. He's proved me wrong. Yeah. About 18 months ago, I didn't think I thought he was a bit of a busted flush. I thought he was just an English young player that had been blown up a little bit. But I think Bowen has done really well, really well since making the step up.
I'm going to edge Harvey Barnes. I'm just going to give it him. I don't know, just for the sake of argument.
Well, argue it then.
I like
argue it then.
All right. The reason why Harvey Barnes, he's still. I think he's younger, but anyways, he might not be. But in terms of Harvey Barnes, I like his direct dribbling, and I think if he played in a more defensive setup, he would be more appreciated. If he had a side that had, he plays for a better team. Jared Bowen does. That's what I'm going to say.
True.
He plays for a much better side, and Harvey Barnes is one of their danger men. Bowen's finishing is better, but Barnes, he's a talent. He's wonderful to watch.
He is talented, very talented.
I think we'll hear. I think the opinion may sway once we see Harvey Barnes get back into some decent form. But predictions, I've gone with a 3-2 Leicester win. Ed's gone with a 2-1 West Ham win. I think mine's a big shout. Mine's probably be my hot take of the week. And do you want me to tell you why, guys?
Yes,
do you know what? I'm gonna leave you waiting a little bit. I know you've waited a lot already, TTF. But guys in the chat, I'm just gonna go through yours first. 2-2. So I think a lot of us are going for goals. Tisha agreeing with her husband right there. 1-1. Zuma effects. 1-0 Leicester. Paxton.
Oh. What a game that would be. What a game that would be.
Oh, exactly. And Brendan Rodgers, Deadman Walking, 3-1 West Ham, 2-1 West Ham. Everyone going for West Ham almost, apart from Paxton. I don't know if he's saying it in jest or he's being real, but it could be. Fofana get back to it's very good to see him back. Quality centre back. Wesley Fofana is. But yeah, I've gone with a Leicester win, and I think people it's not because Leicester are great, it's because I think West Ham haven't been good in recent weeks. They were fortunate to pick up a win against Watford. If we remember, Bowen scoring the goal, deflected effort. We all know how fortunate they were to pick up the win against Kidderminster. And previous to that, they haven't been in some great form, West Ham.
No, they haven't. Antonio should be back starting in this game, which is why I think I edged it. I agree with what Wilf said there, CB, what he said about Brendan Rodgers. I think he'll be there till the end of the season because Leicester have got nowhere else to go. And if Leicester finish where they finish now, which is nowhere near where a team with that, FA Cup winning team from last year, and the players they have, they've obviously been decimated with injuries, especially at the back. Fofana's a big miss. But I agree with CB there. I think that he'll see out the year, and Leicester haven't been shy in getting rid of managers.
Yeah, it's true. They haven't been. They've even got rid of Claudio when they felt it was needed. And this is the final game of the weekend. We don't need to. Have you got stats and facts for this one?
Yeah, of course I have.
Oh, yeah. There he's on it. Ed's on it. We have stats and facts. T News. We don't have that because obviously we've got games.
We don't know. It's this is mainly just a judge for a jolt for those playing FPL that both of these teams have got double game weeks. So yeah, pro tip from me, even though I'm not a pro, I've gone with De Gea.
Have you? You got De Gea in your goal. For me, I've got Lamptey in as well as I've already had Lamptey in, but I've brought Trossard and Ronaldo in.
Okay. So the last 5 meetings read really well for United fans. So if you are still here with us, this is the team you've beaten 5 times in a row. The form, we talked about it earlier. And the XG expected for this game, again, we talked about it earlier. Almost 2 goals for United and 1.31 for Brighton. And this game, at the minute, obviously, there's a long way to go with this one. He's expecting 2.5 goals.
Yeah. So it looks like level, though. 2.5. Yeah. Level, maybe one side edging it. And if you're going to go for one side edging it, you might prefer to go with the home side. I went for the draw, though. I went for the XG. I went for the XG in terms of for both sides in the 1-1 draw. But Ed, you've gone with a United win. What's the reason for that?
I just think at home, double game week, I just think that there'll be a Ronaldo penalty, Fernandes penalty. Something will drag that game out. And I think Brighton will struggle away from home. And I think that form is recent as well, that they've played each other the last 2-3 seasons. And Man United have had their number.
Oh, Scotch, I'd love that one. I'd love that one, a 3-1 Brighton win. Oh, Casey going for a 2-1. 1-0, says Kieran. 2-1, says Paxton. Also agreeing with Casey and Tish. But for me, Creambone, Wilf, I don't refer you as that. I refer you as Wilf. 1-1 draw. Come on. Hopefully we need it. We need it, people. But big up yourself and everyone who's come in and joined. We've still got one more page to go through, and that is to show you the tables for the Predictions League. Or, nice to see you in the chat. Love to see that there. 3-1 Brighton win. I hope you're right, though. I hope you're right. And this is the table as it stands. Edmin has further stretched his lead at the top with that 15 points difference between first and second place.
It was the Palace Norwich who got it spot on. I was the only one to get one spot on. That's the only difference.
Exactly. Oh, it was Zaha. You done me dirty. Otherwise, I would have been spot on. That slip. Oh, so annoying. But guys, it's still neck and neck between me and you. TTF. This is where these weeks are huge now. There's still enough time to catch Edmin, even for the TTF. Because there's a 15-point difference and 16 for you guys. Guys, all it takes is a couple. 8 ahead of us. Still a sad day for all of us. Exactly. It is sad. After I've come from bottom, I was quite far at the bottom too. Also, the gap's there. The gap's been closed. Mind the gap, people. Ed should be saying that really, but mind the gap, TTF. Mind the gap, TTF. Yeah, because you got to try and catch me now, not Edmin. But we'll have to wait and see. Guys, it's been fantastic. And we have a lot of different results, me and Ed. And you and me, I think we have different results between the three of us. So this week's going to be a huge one, don't you think, Ed?
Could be a big one. And just, Moss, quickly on the FPL, the cups. For those of you new to FPL, there's cups this year, which means that in the leagues that you're in, you'll also, at certain points, be in a cup competition where people in that league will be playing against each other. And when we get closer to the Tereak Talk League, we'll tell you about what we're going to do with it as well. So there's going to be some prizes and some giveaways. As long as you're a subscriber to the channel and in the FPL by, I think it's week 32. So I think you've got 3 or 4 weeks left. We'll announce it closer to. So if you've got people that you know that play FPL, stick them in the league. As long as they subscribe to Tereak Talks, there'll be something for them to play along with in a few weeks' time.
Exactly. There we go, people. And guys, that wraps it all up. Thank you for staying for us for over an hour and 45 minutes. This was longer than a football match, but we had a lot of you staying throughout. And do you know what? We're really grateful for that, myself and Ed. And Ed, I'm massively grateful for you coming in and always supporting. And you know what? Really adding this is the best show. This is the best preview show on YouTube. It is, people. And do you know what? If you do enjoy it, smash the like button if you do. I really do enjoy this when we go into a lot of depth. We do a lot of work into it. And I believe it's the best because you guys believe and you show the support throughout. And guys, can you please smash that like button if you haven't done so already? Thank you so much. Thank you, TTF, for staying throughout, giving your predictions in. And if you haven't done so already, get them in the comments below.
Definitely. And if you can as well, guys, at the end of this, when T hits that end broadcast button, get in the comments afterwards. Just, anything you want to say in there as well would be really useful for the algorithm. And just a big shout out to TCM for sanctioning me to do 2 streams this week as a birthday present. So thank you very much, because that's giving up 2 of our evenings. So thank you.
There we go. And talking about birthday present, it is Ed's birthday tomorrow. So make sure you do wish him a happy birthday. But I will be bringing a watch along up on Southampton, Man United versus Southampton. But guys, this is probably the time that you'll catch Ed face to face before his birthday. So guys, can you wish Ed, my bro, a massive happy birthday, just as a thank you for all the help he does do, even when he's not on the shows. He's in there helping put in banners, getting things sorted, just even words of encouragement, absolutely everything. Thank you so much, bro, for all the support.
No, you're welcome. I love it.
So thank you once again, people. I'm going to love and leave you. Take care, and I'll catch you tomorrow for the United Southampton game. Have a good one, people. Peace.